not just President Obama, but the White House in general, is urging business leaders to call Republicans on the Hill, such as yourself, and say, we can't have this debt ceiling thing happen. We have to pass a raising of the debt ceiling. Have you gotten calls like that, and what's your response?
I have, and I hope those same business leaders call President Obama and say what we really need to do is address our long-term debt and deficit issue, which is really what this is all about. It's certainly why I ran. The path this country's on is utterly unsustainable. And Jake, if you really want to understand, I'm a manufacturer. I'm always looking at the root cause of the problem. The reason we're in this stalemate really dates back to the passage of Obamacare. And the fact that it was done on a totally partisan basis, it created this divide that hasn't been healed. And you ladle on top of that the fact that Harry Reid Senate hasn't passed any appropriation bills in the last 2 years. It's really kind of the primary function of Congress is to first authorize the activity of the federal government and then provide the funding for it. We haven't passed an appropriation bill in 2 years.
It did pass a budget in March.
Finally, a budget. But a budget is only supposed to direct the appropriation process, right, where you actually go through that difficult work of prioritizing spending. So we haven't done that in 2 years, which is why we're now at this moment, past the deadline of September 30th when the fiscal year runs out, trying to fund the government again in an incredibly inefficient way, utilizing these continuing resolutions. It's just a terrible way of doing business. So I'm hoping those business leaders talk to President Obama and he exerts some leadership on trying to get this process working a lot better in the future.
Senator, let's stipulate that you're right, that it shouldn't have passed.
Well, I'm right.
Okay, well, there you go.
For the sake of argument.
You're right about everything.
For the sake of argument.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, I'm in the right direction here. Okay, so no, I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, you're 100% right. Let's say that the president shouldn't have passed this along party lines and all the rest. Should the Republicans have decided to make this argument over Obamacare? Should they have promised the country something they actually couldn't deliver, which is defunding Obamacare?
Well, I've done a lot of strategic planning as a business person, and the first step in that is always trying to ascertain reality and then try and set achievable goals. So from my standpoint, I didn't think defunding Obamacare was achievable. I mean, the reality situation is Harry Reid controls the Senate. In order to defund Obamacare, you need 5 Democrat senators to switch their position.
Told them that.
They haven't done that. Yeah, I mean, but again, I appreciate any effort that really highlights how harmful Obamacare is going to be. So no, I mean,
it was a mistake.
So let me stipulate,
right.
It probably wasn't the best strategy to employ. But now we're here, and now what the House is doing is, I think, doing what Congress should do, is they're starting to pass small appropriation bills. They're starting to prioritize spending. The fact that Harry Reid isn't even willing to bring those up for a vote kind of shows you who's really playing politics with the situation.
But he's saying you got them here. This is...
No, it took 2 to tango to get us here. But now I think it makes an awful lot of sense till I start passing the prioritized spending bills. I mean, let's face it. The government, I mean, this is the most shameless action so far, is they actually had to spend money to erect barricades around the open park World War II memorial, basically blocking out 80 and 90-year-old World War II vets. Now, that is just shameless. But that is what this administration is doing to inflict pain and play politics with the shutdown.
Pain is what you get with a government shutdown.